There's some knocking going on, so let's hope that doesn't come through. Oh, here we go. No internet. Fantastic. So I've just written something for people who are interested in getting into rewilding. It's about what it's like owning a rewilding project. And I thought I'd read it because, it's easier to listen to someone sometimes than it is to read it yourself. I've been doing rewilding on a small scale for about 2 years now, and I spent the previous year researching and visiting the site. I usually write about how to rewild, but not what it actually feels like to be a rewilder, so let's take a look at the highs and lows. Autumn thoughts. It's late November on the field, and as the seasons change, I look out across a liminal landscape of golden scrub and wicked thorn, stretching out to the wooded horizon. Humid air sits atop the land like a blanket, and the last-ditch leaves hang on to their holdfasts, seeking one final sunrise atop heaps of blackthorn and bramble. On my 3.5 acres of Somerset flatlands, these overgrown hedges are mounded up, braced against the threat of winter winds. Autumn here is a passing thought that tears through the branches, whipping life from limb. Nestled in our warm, crackly, dry homes this winter, we'll look out at that slanting rain with a wry smile. At least I'm not out in that, we'll think. Well, most of us will. I'll be out, plodding across the field, ankle deep in sloppy brown sludge and the remnants of old pasture. Like you, and my father, I used to hate the rain, rushing inside at the merest hint of precipitation, but there's something about being forced to endure the elements that changes you. Over the first year of working on my project, I spent more time in misting, blasting, harrowing rain than I can recount. My coat is good for about half an hour before the stuff starts seeping through, but when there's work to do, like putting in fence posts, planting trees, digging ponds or laying hedges, there's really no hiding from the weather. You can't pop in for a tea when you're stuck in the middle of a field. Yet somehow, over time, your body begins to embrace these sensations, the shivering wet cold, the wild wind, spattering drops hitting skin. There's something visceral about it, which sends electric shocks down your spine. I understand now why farmers don't wander around in head-to-toe Gore-Tex, but seem to wear a uniform of tattered rags instead. And so it was for me. Far from rejecting the winter winds and autumn rain, I ran out into it, screaming at the sky, "Is that all you've got?" Needless to say, the neighbours think I'm a little bit eccentric, yet I find them out there too. Out in all kinds of weather, because if you're a rewilder and a Brit, then, well, by definition, you learn to love the outdoors, to live the outdoors. In this low landscape, you can see the weather coming from a while away. On one occasion, I watched as a downpour soaked the southern half of the field, while the northern half, where I stood, remained dry. You'll learn more from watching your land than from reading any book. As you watch, the land will change. The water levels rising and falling. Where once there was a tussock, now there is a tiny island, surrounded by a miniature pond, with waving grasses submerged in its depths. Here, there is a skeleton of a tree, where soon there will be leaves, nests, then berries. But knowing the tree means reading it in every season, learning the pattern and the colour of its bark, so that you can recognise it again when you stumble upon those same lines and shades in the back of a supermarket car park or on a wind-blasted moor. Watching is half of rewilding, and in the far distance you'll see the birds coming, just like the weather. Watch them arrive, because as you learn the land, you'll also learn the birds that live here. The more you see them come and go, the more you'll know them by a flick of the wing, a turn of the head, or the way they bounce from tree to tree. As time passes, more and more birds will arrive, bringing you hope, joy, and a lot of time in confusion cross-referencing bird books. Ponds are like a magnet that draw in the migrants and the overflyers which pass across this green desert landscape. My land is an oasis, 7 ponds scattered across a thistle-strewn field. Snow-white egrets, nervous wagtails, flighty snipe and striking shelduck all appear, and I stand there silently and watch. It was trespassing, I suppose. We hadn't yet bought the field when I first showed my son the land. He was 6. From speaking to the landowner, it seemed like we were just weeks away from the final sale. In reality, it was months. Yet here we were, in late August, trudging through this featureless expanse of green pasture that would soon become rolling slopes of wetland, young woodland, meadows, and that tiny bit of allotment stuck down the end. My son asking why we were walking on a bit of field that wasn't the public footpath. "We're not allowed here, Dad." "Don't worry, I'm just showing you something, okay?" "But—" I jumped up onto a stack of mouldering hay bales which were dumped in the corner of the field and pulled him up after me. Soon these would become his climbing frame, but for now they were a viewing station, a lookout post. I pointed towards the far hedgerow, the thin green line which stretched away from us across to the end of the field, 200 metres away. All this land, everything from here all the way to over there, all of it will soon belong to us. We can do whatever we like here. It'll be our project. We're going to bring back nature here, together. And we did. Thanks. You can read this in its full extent on lifeto.land, which is my website. It's a new service which I'm creating for landowners where you can access rewilding advisory and nature recovery, regenerative agriculture information. The blog is just to get people interested in buying land for nature recovery. So yeah, if you're interested, go over there, have a look, share it. Thanks.